Good afternoon, Big Brother fans. It is Friday, June 28th, day 2 since Big Brother ended. And I didn't go to work today since we did our podcast last night. And I stayed up a little bit late and had a couple of beers. I decided I was taking the day off. And so today, I'm actually talking to you from outside my car. Although if you listen closely, you can probably hear the sound of traffic on an interstate highway in the background because I'm actually walking around near the interstate that you usually hear me driving on as I help prepare a cross-country course for a cross-country meet that is going to be held tomorrow. And so I thought I would talk to you guys while I cut back some trees so that the cross-country runners don't have to worry about them. And so that's what I'm going to do. Talk about Big Brother while I trim back some brush, and thought you could listen in, join me. So those of you who haven't listened to our podcast yet, that's the first place I would start. Listen to last night's podcast. It's up on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, all those wonderful places, and you can, if you can't find it in some way, shape, or form, by all means, please tweet at me, Twitter at me, email me, whatever you need to do. My email address is ilovereality@gmail.com. My Twitter account, of course, is bbgossip. But reach out to me if you can't figure out how to listen to our regular podcasts. I think most of you can, because that's probably how you're listening to this one, too. But if not, if you're one of the people that may be listening to this on Spotify, which, in theory, hopefully there's one or two. I don't know, but I know it's listed on Spotify. So if you're listening on Spotify, you would not be able to hear the Big Brother Gossip Show there because we're not there yet. Holler and I'll point you in another direction. I've helped people. I am willing to do whatever it takes to give you the help that you need to listen to our podcast. All right, so what do I have to add? I don't have a whole lot to add, guys. I haven't been keeping up as much keeping up as there is to be done. We talked last night. We talked about the outcome, who won, KC winning, and if it was a bias, and should Tyler have won. The more I think about it, and I think I did read a couple of people's opinions out there and things, and it sounds like talking to the jury that maybe Tyler waited too long. He kept his cards too close to his vest, and so they didn't appreciate how good a game he'd been playing, and that's part of playing the game. If you aren't telling people. If nobody knows how good a game you're playing, they can't decide in the end to vote for you. So it's entirely possible that Tyler should have been a little bit more, that pre-game heading out the door kind of thing, like, sorry, I was going to work with you. Possibly all those final 2 deals cut him or hurt him in the end. I do think, and as I said last night, that his time with Sam, I think the showman's hurt his game. I think his relationship with Angela really hurt his game. Whether you want to blame that on Sam for being jealous, I don't know. And I think Tyler's going to be just fine. I think Tyler's going to be fine. I think, and I think I said it last night, I think that the Tyler-Angela showmance is the most legit one of the showmances. Doesn't mean they're going to last forever, but I do think that that they're gonna be together for a while. Hopefully, as long as they can be, as long as it works out for them. I'm all for that. Good for Tyler. I like Tyler. I really do. I did like Tyler. I didn't dislike Tyler as much as sometimes Colette would seem to think I did. No, didn't dislike him at all. And I certainly wish him the best. I just felt like he got a little bit of extra help from CBS at times. But that's okay. He got America's Favorite Player. And that's that. What other things to talk about? I should have asked you guys to ask me questions before I did this. Maybe I will do another one. I don't know if I will. I'm not going to do a Periscope because I can't Periscope while I'm walking around trimming bushes. But I don't know what's going to happen with JC. I haven't heard anything much from him. I did create my Twitter. I had started a Twitter list of all the Twitter accounts. There's debate out there on a couple of them. I guess Angela had a couple, one of which isn't apparently her. And then some people are saying that Sam doesn't have a Twitter account. So the account that appears to be Sam's out there that has like 20-some thousand followers may not be a legit actual Sam account. It may be a fan just taking advantage of the fact that Sam doesn't have one and kind of... They aren't necessarily posing as Sam. I don't even know if it says that it's Sam's official account. Sometimes you'll get an account that says, just holding this until Sam gets out and or whoever gets out, and then we'll release it to that person. And that sometimes does happen and sometimes doesn't happen. Sometimes things get personal and they go, appreciate it, but yeah, I've got my own account, don't need this one. And then the person kind of gets pissed off. And I don't know. If Sam's not active on social media at all, first of all, she should. I mean, she is. She's on Instagram, but she needs to get active on this one, if for no other reason than just to make sure no one thinks it's her. Get a Twitter account and say, this is the official Twitter account, but I really don't use it. Follow me on Instagram. But do something. If anybody knows Sam, and you want another Big Brother gossip show, get Sam to contact us and we'll do an interview with her. But the one stipulation is that that we'll have our Sam interview the real Sam. And that's why I don't think it'll happen. But it'd be fun. I mean, I'll be totally honest too. If we ever did secure the real Sam as an interview, we would be really respectful. We would do it in a complete fun way. You know, nothing trying to embarrass her or make her look bad. It would honestly be. But I don't think it'd ever happen because we did kind of go at her pretty hard a few times in the making fun department. So I would imagine that her people or big time fans of hers said, no, they made fun of you. You shouldn't do their show. And then they'll say, yeah, sorry, not going to do it. That's what I would guess how it would go down. All right. Well, there's one big set of bushes trimmed back. A little bit more room for the kids to get through tomorrow. There's a cross-country meet here tomorrow. It's a conference meet, so there'll be, I think, 7 schools. I'm not 100% sure. Technically, it's not our meet to host, but the hosting team screwed up and didn't get their course reserved in time, so our school volunteered to host it. We would have rather not, because of this very reason. I'm out here trying to help get it ready, and it was an added load of stress for my son, who happens to be the cross-country coach. But I don't mind. it was an excuse to help him out and come out here and talk to you guys now, as it turns out. Hopefully nobody walks up to me while I'm talking to myself and goes, "Who are you talking to?" Oh, I'm talking to a couple hundred people at least on the internet. All right, so what else can we talk about? I mean, we did our podcast last night, so I can ask you guys questions, but you can't answer me right now. I mean, I'm curious about what you guys think, how you feel about stuff. Were you happy with the way the show ended? I mean, I got a feeling on that already. I mean, a lot of people were not happy with how quick it was. I don't know. You have to go back and watch other seasons to look at their finales to kind of figure out if it was where they cut things. And Scott had checked some times on that one for some stuff, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if somebody said there was a 3-hour finale. I don't remember there being 3-hour finales. I can remember, I think, 2-hour finales, but I don't really recall 3-hour finales. And the problem is that the next time they decide to do a 2-hour finale, that'll be too long. And we'll all be like, "God, that was horribly long. Why did they do that? They should have been shorter." Well, then you can't win. You cannot win. And I think a Survivor or a reunion show like Survivor does would be more fun, where they actually do some questions and stuff. That, to me, seems like it would be fun to do, but I guess they don't think they'll get enough participation, or the fans won't stick around for it as much. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let me get these. All right. I'm sure you guys would enjoy this visually, watching me walk around and cut trees down or cut branches back. Okay. Onward back into the woods. Funny thing is, I have never walked this whole course. I've seen it where they go into the woods, and I've seen it where they come out of the woods, but I've actually never walked through the course itself. So this is a first for me. Ugh. Sorry, there may be times of dead air here. I'm trying to think of what to talk about. I can't even talk about things like Big Brother UK because I haven't watched it. They did have a tease, so Big Brother UK, and those of you that haven't watched it, now's your time. Go watch it. Check it out. What have you got to lose? Are you watching anything else? Are you going to other shows? I guess if you are, then you have no interest. But if you have nothing else to do, go to my YouTube account, I Love Reality, and then search for the playlist, and you'll find one for Big Brother UK. And you can check it out. And in that list, I just do the regular show, not the bit on the side thing that they do. They did so it's different, of course. I'm not going to go through all this. I feel like I'm just filling up airspace while I walk around and talk to you guys. So maybe I should just be done. I don't know if I have enough to talk about. They did a competition. I'm not going to spoil names or anything, so maybe that would be good enough for you guys that haven't seen it yet. So they actually are doing a thing this season, which is new for them, where the top, and you have this big coin thing, And the top person who has the most big coins, kind of, in a certain way, is sort of like a head of household. He doesn't get to make nominations or anything, but they're doing a competition, or they did a competition a couple of days ago, where they, it's a 6-person competition, and the person who had the most big coins got to pick the 6 people to play in it. Well, 5, I guess, including myself. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it got to go. Well, maybe, did the nominees get to play? I don't even know yet because I haven't seen it. I've only seen the teaser for it, and in the teaser for it, they're actually doing the ball pit competition. They're running in and getting balls, or searching for like puzzle pieces in a ball pit. Each of them look like an individual ball pit. And from what I saw in the previews, again, at the very beginning of this episode, it sounds like a couple of people got disqualified for cheating or for doing something, which is kind of funny, only because they never called Big Brother U.S. people for any violations. I don't know if there have been violations, but we've cried foul sometimes on what people have done. Said, no, they shouldn't be doing that. That shouldn't be allowed. They actually, I think, eliminated 2 people from the competition based on things that happened during the competition. So I'll have to check it out and see. And but this competition is kind of making it a little bit like Big Brother US, and some people aren't very pleased with that fact. I don't want it to be like Big Brother US, but then again, there's a lot of Big Brother UK people who are tired of that format and actually are interested in the Big Brother US format. I don't know. I can't. I'm just like, no, I don't want that. But maybe what they angle it towards, it's the final season this year for them. And we'll see how it works out. The difference is that the voting is still, I believe, voting to save. The house guests don't actually vote. All this competition is going to do is possibly add one more person to the list of nominees. Or not add one, save one. One of them could save. So they could save themselves or get saved, taking the list of nominees down to 2. So at most it may save somebody. But of the 2 that are left, in theory, the least entertaining one will get voted out because the fans won't have an interest. That's how it works in theory, and assuming it's a vote to save. I think it is this week. Ooh, I'm getting bit by bugs. There's bugs out here. All right, guys. I'm done talking about Big Brother. I'm sorry I can't... I just don't have any interesting tidbits. I haven't followed up at all on the house guests, what's going on in the last 24 hours since the show got over. You should check out our podcast. I'm sure most of you have. Listen to that. And for the rest of this time, I'm still not sure what I'm going to talk about. And it will just be random rambling. So, your choice. You know what I'm going to talk about? I'm going to talk about cross country. That's what I'm going to talk about. So, if you want to listen to me talk about cross country plus I can only do 45 minutes at a time. How much time do I got? I'm 18 minutes in, so about at most 15 more minutes me talking about cross country. Stay tuned. If not, then I'll talk to you guys sometime down the road. I'm not sure if I'm doing a Periscope this afternoon or not. Haven't decided, but I will still do them occasionally. I am still going to do stuff. I've kind of decided that I'm still going to be active in some limited capacity, especially since I have patron supporters that are, giving me a little monetary love to do stuff. All right. So those of you that are tuning out now, see you later. Those of you that are hanging on, I'll do this for a few more minutes. And, all right, see you guys. All right, so those of you that are staying, hi. So those of you that have never experienced a cross-country meet, it's just a 5K. And I had never been to a cross-country meet when I was in school. I didn't know anything about cross-country. Just so happened that our oldest son was a distance runner in track in junior high, and his times were good enough that he said, you really ought to go out for cross-country. And he had played football. He played receiver in junior high. He pretty much said, I don't like it. It hurts. Getting hit hurts, and that's all you do as a receiver is get hit. So he decided to try cross country, and he was the school's number one runner, I think, by the end of his freshman year. He actually held back. Some kids tend to do that when you're better than your upperclassmen, who you, in some ways, we all idolize our upperclassmen, and when you're a freshman and you're really technically better than the senior, there's a couple of races near the end where the senior boy finally said, "Just go." Knew that our son was faster than him, and so he finally, kind of took off and did well. And he had a very good cross-country career. Then his brothers, as happens sometimes, both did the same thing, but they're totally different physically. And so it wasn't as rewarding an experience award-wise for them, but they both still did it. So I've been going to cross country for like 10 years at least, 11 years. And it's a fun time. It is not a sport where you stand in one place generally. You have to move around if you want to see the action. At least if it's a pardon me, a big cross-country course like this one that I'm on. It's not a huge cross-country course, but this one, you go through the woods. Now, I've never been back here, like I said. I know where they go in and I know where they come out. But now I know what they're actually doing back here. And so it gives me a little bit better understanding. But yeah, it's a 5K. Times, how fast do these kids run this thing? So around here, anything under 20 minutes is pretty good time for your average runners. I mean, your elite runners, super elite runners that will go on to college careers and stuff. When they get to time for the big meets, you're talking for boys. They've got to be very close to 16 minutes, or somewhere between 16 and 17 minutes is what you're looking at for boys. Now, really though, like I said, anything under 20 minutes is a pretty darn good time for boys. My oldest son, I think his top time was a 16:40, 45 or 46 or something. So he did well. But tomorrow at this meet, the winning time will probably be somewhere in the 17s. Again, this is just 6 schools. I'm guessing it'll be in the 17s. It may actually be close to 18. It just depends on how hard the kids go out. Girls, again, 20 minutes is very good. In the 19s, you're doing really well. Then the really elite girls are in the low 18s. I can't remember if 17s is the number. Again, this is here in Indiana. Different states are going to have different times just because of the quality or the level and the number of runners that you have and how popular the sport is in the state. So for those of you weekend people that do your 5Ks, that's how fast these kids are running. My personal best on a 5K is like 31 minutes, I think. Yeah, and I probably walked part of that. I'm not a runner. Never was a runner. My wife was never a big runner either. However, she has done a mini marathon. And I don't know. I think she's probably run a little bit faster than me. But I'm almost 6 foot or 6 foot, and my wife is 5 foot. So she has to take a lot more steps than I do. But I'd never, ever, ever do a mini marathon. Not happening. I'm much closer to the interstate now, or rather there's less trees in front of me. So you can probably hear those cars running a lot more now, or mostly semis making all that noise. All right. Okay. So all I'm doing is I'm going through the wooded area and just trying to open it up a little bit so that the kids can run side by side if they need to get past somebody in the woods. Some courses get very narrow at points, and that's just with or there's kids that just don't want to get anywhere near the trees, and so they kind of run in the center and they're hard to get around. And I'd rather have it a bit more open than try to let people use this as a way to block people from moving up. So that's what we're doing, is just cutting back some of the brush and stuff that's grown up over the summer or over the fall. We've only run, I think we've run only one meet here, maybe two this year. So there's not a lot of attention that's given to this necessarily. But I think we're doing okay. I think that's about it for this spot. I think got one other place to cut back and I may be done. And then I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay. Out into the open. Let's see. Let's take this bridge back. There. Okay, guys. I have now cut back the main part of the woods. Ooh, there's corn cobs in here. So I'm right by the side of a big field now. And there's a cornfield, and they've harvested this corn already. And when they harvest corn, they automatically the corn cobs get thrown back into the field. In this case, since we're right next to the edge of the field, there are corn cobs that have run onto the path, and I really don't want a kid to step on one of these corn cobs and roll their ankle or something. So I'm going to go down and make sure those are cleaned out. That's all you need, is step on one of those things and just roll the ankle and go down. Not good. Okay. So, I've talked about this stuff before. So I'm thinking now again back on what to do now that Big Brother is over. If you haven't ever listened to Scott and Colette, those of you that are subscribers, you should check out the Day Drinking Show, or the one where they talk about classic movies and stuff. I'd listen to that probably sooner than I'd listen to the Bravo stuff that they talk about, only because I'm not a big reality fan of other shows. And yes, I did watch the first episode of Survivor, but again, I'm probably going to fade out on that pretty quick. But Colette talks about classic movies and stuff, and they watch them, and then they discuss them after they've watched them. it's worth checking out if you're looking for something to do. Of course, it is a subscription, so I can't remember how much they charge. It's not very much. I'm actually a subscriber but I just do it out of loyalty to them. Oh yeah, this bush needs cut back right here. Let me trim this one back a little. I'm gonna have to take off this sweatshirt. It's getting toasty out here. Okay. This tree is growing out of an arborvitae. So it's pretty much like a mulberry tree growing out of a... Mulberry's the biggest pain because they're just like weeds. It's in the middle of an arborvitae, which is the tall, evergreen kind of trees that people put up as screens, and that's what this one's being used for, along the backside of a football field. All right, that's cleaned up a little bit. So, what else to talk about? Reality shows. I would strongly, and I've talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again. Those of you that are looking for something to check out, and I will repost this again maybe later today. I have every season, I have the last 3 seasons of Big Brother Australia, which was, now we're going back to 2012, 2013, and 2014. And I'm telling you what, it is, if you like, Big Brother is good. Big Brother Australia is fun. It's not as serious. Look, the public votes on the winner. The house guests they're just there to try to make people happy and have a good time, and they don't care as much. Although they will say that there's gamesmanship going on. They're not competing for prizes. It's like first season of Big Brother US, and they're competing for food and things like that. And so most of the time they have to work together. Sometimes they get pitted against each other. But it's never a case of half the house, well, maybe it is, but I don't recall any particular season where it was half the house gets crap. Well, no, you know what they did? One season, in these last 3 seasons, they made half a house. So everything in half of the house was a half. The beds were halves. That's what I remember, the beds being halves. But everything was like, so they weren't full. And so it was comical for a couple of weeks. And then they all get merged in together at one point. But you should check it out. It's on my YouTube page. On I Love Reality is the YouTube account. And look for playlists, and those playlists are there too. But I will also tweet out links. I wrote up an article last year about what to do after Big Brother, and I included the links to those 3 seasons. As of a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, they're all still working. Sometimes they get deleted on requests and stuff, but last I saw, they're all still working. So you can watch, like there's 80 episodes, I think, of the 2013 season. I know there's 50 some of the 2014. And I think there's maybe 60 or so of the 2012. So there's a lot to watch there. And again, for those of you that have listened to me ramble a billion times, you've already heard this same story. I'm running out of stories, guys. It's time to vote me out of the house. I have nothing interesting to say. All right. Let me look at my time. Where am I at? I think I get 45 minutes before I get cut off. And I'm at 34 minutes. What else to talk about? This is so right here at this moment, for those of you that are still listening, and those of you that are still listening are obviously the super diehard crazy people. This is why I don't know if I can keep doing this in the off season. I got nothing to talk about, man. I got nothing interesting to tell you guys, unless I have a topic, and I can go off on topics. But I need a starting point. I need somebody to start me. Did you guys like our little stories? So, here you go. So, last night on our podcast, Colette's burnout. She's like, I don't want to do 10 more stories, guys, but we need to give them stuff because they're supporting us. And she's like, what if I do one big story that has all of them in it? And we talked and said, hey, Scott and I both said it. What about a party? And we had just got a new executive producer, Anita Peters. And so we got another one. What are we going to do? And so Scott came up with the idea of having her host, and then everybody else be at the party. And that's a really good idea. And so we were charged with doing stories. I thought I was going to do the stories that the same people that I'd done before. And so I was already working in my mind what kind of stories to have. And the one that I came up with pretty quick was Vince. I knew what I was going to have Vince do. And then yesterday, as the day went on, Colette said, I'm doing Vince, because I'm going to have Vince do such and such. And I'm not going to spoil it for those of you that are for some odd reason listening to me first. But she said, I'm going to do Vince. And so I didn't get to do it, but I'd already worked out a story in my head. So Vince, if by chance, Vince, you were listening to this, which I don't know if Vince listens to this stuff or not. My story for you was going to involve you bringing Bloody Marys. I thought we were going to have people bring gifts to the party or something as party favors, or everything they came with, and that's why I had the two people I did. I had them either bringing a gift or bringing food in a way. So in my mind, Vince was going to show up with alcohol, Bloody Marys, to be specific, because that's what I talked about in my story last week. But it was just going to appear on the table, or it was just going to appear. It was going to appear out of nowhere that this tray of Bloody Marys with the Louvange, or whatever, however you pronounce it, straws, the natural grass or natural plant straws, were inside of them, or in them. And so that's what I was going to have happen, but I didn't get that story. But the question was going to be, is Vince was not going to be anywhere to be seen, because Vince was stealthily hiding in the shadows. So everyone would have been like, I don't see Vince. Where's Vince? And Vince was such a successful ninja that no one would have seen him. And there would have been my story for Vince. Colette's story was good as well. So it all worked out in the end. All right. I don't think we have too much more to do here. I don't know if you guys can hear it as I cut these. I'm literally cutting this arborvitae back a little bit so that when the kids hit this corner, they can take it a little bit tighter. But the more I cut it back, it'll never, once I take out the whole bush, it'll never be enough. So now there's still a ton of corn cobs. This part of the course goes right along the edge of the cornfield, and there's just no way these kids are going to roll their ankles on these things. So now I got to walk about 50 yards kicking corn cobs out of the way the whole time. You know what, guys? I think I'm done. I think I'm done talking to you. I think I've said enough. I think I'm going to sign off and post this and go with Mrs. BB Gossip to get new tires on her car, because she told me that's what she needed to do. So, as she's a school teacher, she's literally in the building next to me where I'm doing all this. As is oldest son, that cross-country thing. He's the head cross-country coach, as well as a teacher now as well. He started teaching this year. So, yep. So with that, I am signing off, guys. You have a wonderful day. I have no idea the next time I'm going to do another one of these. My guess is sometime next week. If you have interesting questions you'd like to ask, by all means, tweet them at me or email me at ilovereality@gmail.com. And I will be happy to answer them if I am able, or offer my thoughts. But since we did a podcast last night, right now, I'm a bit brain dead on Big Brother. And I just frankly don't care about, pardon me, sorry, don't really care about Big Brother right now. I'm like, don't care, would have been happy, wouldn't have been upset if they had announced that they weren't doing a Big Brother next year. It would have been okay. I really would have. I know I would have missed it at some point, but, oh man. We'll see. Celebrities coming sometime this winter. Date unknown. Okay, guys. I'm going to sign off. I made it about halfway down this little backstretch. See you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.